Hello, this is John from Clock Repairs Merseyside. I just thought I'd give you a couple of thoughts of my Myford Super 7 lathe after a few months of ownership. I've got to be honest with you, it is a lot better than my old Drummond, even though I was absolutely in love with my Drummond lathe. But this one, it just feels a lot better now that I've got quite used to it. Troubles I had, being honest with you, is I had trouble setting this clutch part up. As you can see now, it's all done. I had to get a new clutch mechanism at the top there. I was lucky to get one. I think I've mentioned it, but I had trouble setting it up. It was quite noisy. As you can see there, I've indicated the speeds on the belt pulleys there. It's what they're going to be when they're moved in that situation. I had a three-phase motor on it with a like a variable speed variac type affair, and I just found it was getting hot. So I just transferred it basically to a conventional, what it would have been. This motor section here doesn't fit in with the cover over it at the way it is. When I modify it, I probably will modify it. I'm gonna put it back on again, obviously for safety reasons. I fitted a switch. As you can see, it's pretty silent. It's pretty quiet. It's a lot quieter than the Drummond. But don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my Drummond. The other thing, excuse me, I'll turn up. The other thing I bought another chuck for it. This three jaw chuck for it. It just fits straight on. It's already mounted on the plate, and it just fits straight on. Everything was pretty much lubricated, taken to pieces, lubricated. The things that I am really impressed with, but yeah, I know it's common things on the more modern lathes, but I've worked with modern lathes, and they don't have the feel. They simply don't have the feel. They don't feel like, you know, as solid, as sure. I mean, the tailstock in this is just an absolute dream to use. I mean, you know, you can sort of slide it along and then lock it in position. Slide it along and lock it in position. And, you know, all that's really easy. Also, what we have on this is I use this type of affair so that we can get things that we use that as a dead center because mainly with this lathe, we're mainly making bigger bushing, bigger things, bigger parts, bigger bushing for, say, bigger bushes for grandfather clocks, you know, the grandfather clocks, you know, spools, you know, where your gut line goes on, you know, often they're quite worn. I mean, I know you've got a bit of play in them, but you know, sometimes it's really excessive. And then if you start getting other problems, other parts need bushing, I mean, you know, it adds up to problems. So when we're going to bush something, we pretty much bush every single thing that needs doing, obviously. So this is mainly made for doing that type of thing. And we have a lot of like sort of raw, you know, brass stock round bar. But that's pretty much. So yeah, I'm very impressed with the Myford 7 or Super 7. I mean, this one was made, I think, around about 1957, judging by the paperwork we had with it. It's on its original type stand. But yeah, being honest with you, I've done no screw thread cutting with it or nothing like that, because simply, you know, with this type of screw threads we're dealing with, I mean, you can tap them by hand, you know, there's no problem with that. What I also do when I give everything, I've got these open type oilers, and what I do is I just give them a little drop of oil as we start the machine up. I let this drip feeder feed in a little bit as we start up, really just to, you know, give a little bit of lubrication. I mean, I don't, you know, if you leave it running, as you can see, you'll end up with a load of oil underneath the lathe. But other than that, yeah, I'm glad I made the purchase. Now, at first, I was getting a bit disappointed. I think what it was, I was used to me other lathe, and I felt, or you know what it's like. It's when you get rid of, like, you get rid of a car, you do the same, don't you? Think, oh, have I got rid of it? Oh, and if something's not right, you think, have I made a mistake? I mean, things I had to do. I had to put a new screw thread in here to put this tool post on. The tool post's fine. It's it's okay, but it's a little bit worn. It's something I may replace in the future. I don't know. I mean, it's for the amount of use we use it for. You know, I don't think I'll be buying another lathe. I mean, I have my 3-jaw chuck. We have a set of collets, which are these type of things, and they're actually shubling. So as you can see there, they're actually shubling. So, you know, really nice set of collets. I bought them off the guy separately. It's also got a a vertical slide for milling. Doing very, I mean, you'd be maxed out at about 50mm or maybe less on that. So it really is for small jobs. Again, we're very rare we're going to use it. I did have a mill, as you've probably seen in other videos, and you know, it was surplus to requirements. It was basically a glorified drill press, really. We have a smaller drill press in the other workshop, as you have seen, and that pretty much does most of what we need. But again, you know, if we're going to drill round stock, it's going to be, I mean, we've even got a 4-jaw chuck, so if we wanted to, we could drill square stock if we wanted to. We could centre it up, obviously cross it and centre it up and drill a hole through square stock if we wanted to. So, you know, pretty much, you know, I'm happy with the lathe. The other little thing I think's handy on this lathe, I don't have to necessarily work from the back, the tailstock, to sort of bring the carriage back and forth. I can work with this if I want to, although it's quite it's not as precise, if you like. I mean, if you put this, I mean, you've got a lot more, it's a lot easier, it's a lot smoother, if you like. You know, you've got a bit more, that's a bit crude if you're doing small parts. But also, obviously, if you're really going to make precision parts, I mean, you'd be dealing with the cross slide, wouldn't you? You'd sort of rough things down, you know, using the sort of the bigger slide forwards and backwards stuff. And then what you would do is you'd get the precision side of it by using, you know, the cross slide gauges themselves. Again, I was going to buy some like DRO type stuff, but it was going to be more the caliper type, you know, the digital caliper type that fitted on. You can actually buy them for Myford. I mean, they are quite expensive, but you know, you can get cheaper ones. But I don't think sometimes, if you can afford it, I'd get the better ones, because, you know, they're going to last quite a bit longer. But I don't particularly, again, I weighed it up, I don't particularly need that type of thing, because, you know, really, I mean, the amount of work we do, you know, with that type of thing, it would be a waste of time. So I pretty much use the old-fashioned method of measuring, either with a caliper or even a micrometer, really depending on what it is. But again, very, very rare. We can pretty much get what we need with what we've already got here. But incidentally, them calipers, you buy them on eBay or RDG. It's one of them, people, and they actually just clip on and bolt onto your cross slide. And you know, and you get measurements then, and then you've got one that'll fit on your tailstock, and it clamps round here and it bolts to there, and then it moves in and out. I mean, because it's not very clear, you know, your measurements on there. It's not very clear at all. It's pretty thing. But again, you know, we'll sort of measure the drill bit. We'll then put a mark on it. We'll measure it with a caliper, put a mark on it, and depth it that way. Or you've got depth. You know, you can use a micrometer as you're going in. I mean, you just got to be, you know, it comes along with skill and practice, and you know, and that's what it's all about with lathe work. But for what we do, but we're involved with so much different stuff with clocks that, you know, we're not often on the lathe, to be honest with you. I mean, I also find that making bushes on even the other stuff, we make smaller bushes on the other lathes. There's their own small micro lathes and a watchmaker's lathe. I mean, if we need to, on some of the French stuff. I mean, it's just better stuff. It's better than the stuff that the bushes you buy, in my opinion. Again, everything is my opinion, but you know, I'm simply speaking from experience, really. And what I'm saying is, if you can, it's good practice if you can make your own as well. I mean, it gives you a lot more understanding of what's going on. But yeah, we have a 4-jaw chuck for here, a smaller chuck. The actual chuck that came with it was okay, but to me it didn't look like it was running through. But then when I put a dial gauge on, it wasn't so bad. But I just wasn't happy. Then I'd done some work and I'd done some measurements and I found something wasn't right, and I thought this has got to be down to this chuck anyway. Getting this chuck, not the you know, it was about, I think it was about 100 and something pounds. I don't think, you know, it's a new chuck. I decided I seen a few Myford original chucks and sort of similar price, but I thought, you know what, I want something that's gonna be working right, you know. So I bought the chuck off a reputable, probably is a Chinesian one, obviously we know that before you're all shouting out it's Chinese. I get it, but the thing is, it's pretty decent. It feels pretty decent. It's pretty solid, and that's what I could say, so I had no problems with that. Anyway, I just thought I'd do a short video. I am going to try and set up something in this workshop just to do a little bit of show you how we make some clock bushers, you know, go through the whole procedure. But it's a little bit more of an undertaking really, because obviously I can't do the work and hold the phone or the camera at the same time, and we're restricted with a bit of space, so you know it's a little bit more difficult than normal. But I will try. Anyway, this is John from Clock Repairs Merseyside. You have a great day. Thank you.